Hello, and welcome to the Red Eye. I'm Brian Okumu.
And I'm Wade Englehart. Englehart.
Today we'll be looking into the intense world of adult Cheerily spelling bees by seeing how IPEI's annual adult spelling bee went this year.
Later, we will be diving into the many lives of more Ithacans, getting inside view to see what makes them tick.
So first up, we get to take a look into the exciting world of adult spelling bees, where a variety of teams participate to show their skill at being wordsmiths. Let's see how it goes.
On March 2nd, 2014, the IPEI Spelling Bee took place, and what an event it was. It was held in Ithaca High School's Wellness Center gym, and included no admission charge for the public. In all, 28 teams attended, with 3 adults each, and over $25,000 was raised to support IPEI's grants for teachers. This money was raised through entry fees from the teams, a silent auction that took place throughout the event, program advertisements, team sponsorships, event sponsorships, and pledges based on correctly spelled words. The event was conducted exactly like an official spelling bee. David Feldschuh acted as the announcer, giving words to the spellers and answering any questions they had. Jeff Dunn worked alongside him, alerting spellers if their time was running out for spelling their word. The judges included IPEI founder Ralph Jones, as well as Paulette Manos and Deborah Lynn. There were even 2 MCs for the event, Greg Bostwick and George Preston, who carried out commentaries during the breaks. There were many teams attending the event, with great names such as the Hilarious Spellaires, the BJM Spellcasters, the IHS Math Teachers team Y=MX+B, and many more. The competition ended in a heated showdown between the Board of Education's team, Board of Ed Buzz, and WSKG Radio's team, We Spell Crazy Good. However, WSKG prevailed, spelling Pasmentary correctly, and received the Fuzzy Bee Award from founder Ralph Jones, who presented it to them at the conclusion of the event. If you would like to purchase the full event on DVD, it is available to order from Steve Cass, Ithaca High School's television production instructor. The cost is $20 for Blu-ray and $10 for regular DVD, with the proceeds going to IPEI and WRED equally. To order, please fill out the order form at bit.ly/spellingbeedvd.
Well, that was very enlightening, but I'm glad I wasn't involved because spelling my last name is hard enough.
You think your last name is hard to spell? Damn.
Point taken.
On to other news. The first Ithacan we will be taking a look at is Jeff Long, our very own Molly Long's father. Let's see what he had to say.
For some, lacrosse is just a sport. But for Jeff Long, lacrosse is a way of life that shaped where he is today. The first time he held onto a wooden stick made by the Onondaga tribe in 5th grade, he fell in love and became the Great Long Man, as he is most commonly referred to as today. Growing up in the lacrosse-rich community of Irondequoit, New York, led him into becoming the all-time top scorer at the Naval Academy to this day. His extremely humble attitude overshadows the immense amount of honors and awards he has received for his hard work on the lacrosse field.
I think the thing that's most important to me is I had such a strong supporting cast. I probably don't even consider myself the best player on my team back then. We had a lot of good lacrosse players. It was truly an example of great teammanship. We had great coaching, and I really just kind of reaped the benefits of having a great supporting cast around me.
In high school, he was being recruited by extremely lacrosse-talented universities, and in the end, he chose to attend the Naval Academy.
I think the biggest thing about the academy was I saw that as a challenge more so than the other schools. Probably equally academically to the schools I was looking at, but there was so much more to do and be challenged at the Naval Academy, physically and emotionally. And even back then, I think one of the key figures was that I couldn't, you can't transfer into the Naval Academy, you couldn't back then, so I could always leave there and go somewhere else if I wasn't happy or didn't like it. But if I didn't go there and I couldn't transfer in. And the last piece is that the lacrosse was very good. We were a Final Four team for 4 years in a row, and prior to me arriving there, they were a top 10 team for a decade. So it was a good quality level of lacrosse.
He graduated from the academy in 1977 as a 3-time All-American and holds the current position as Navy's men's lacrosse career scoring leader. After spending some time overseas, he came back to the United States and began his coaching career at Washington and Lee University.
Really, the key is just the relationship that I have with my players, and I haven't really treated any of them very differently from school to school. I ask a lot, I demand a lot. The kids seem to react to it pretty well, and I think really how we gauge success, at least is how I gauge success, is what the end product is. I'm not so concerned about what the incoming freshman is like. I'm really concerned about what the senior graduating 4 years later is all about, and he's ready to take on life.
In 2009, he received one of the highest honors any athlete dreams of receiving, an induction into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame. I expected him to briefly comment on how hard he worked to get there, and yet he still accounts his success to the people he was surrounded by, who supported him and taught him all he knows today.
Wouldn't have received that honor without the people that I played with and were coached by, so even though I'm the one getting the plaque and getting the award at those ceremonies, a piece of that goes out to all the people that I did play with and my friends and family who supported me throughout the years.
You played the sport when it wasn't very well known in the country. Since then, it has become very popular. What are the pros and cons to this growth?
I think the biggest pro to the growth is that there's so much more opportunity for men and women to get out there and play collegiate lacrosse and get a good education and have the athletic experience. The con is what typical of anything. When things get too big, it loses a little bit of personality. Growing up, there was only a handful of teams that played, and it was a little bit more of a fraternity or sorority. Now it's becoming a major sport.
This fall is the kickoff of his 27th season as the men's lacrosse head coach at Ithaca College. He says every year the upcoming freshmen bring a new dynamic to the team, and he evolves as a coach every year. He plans on staying at Ithaca College for the immediate future until Kathy, his wife, and him find an area to move to where winter doesn't last for 6 months.
Next up, we're going to find out about an integral member of the Cornell staff, Mary Malverton, who works with the fine folks at the astronomy department.
WRED segment producer Joseph Lunine has the report.
Well, it was in my childhood days.
I grew up in Old Bridge, New Jersey. I was born in Jersey City to parents, Rosemary and Joseph Mulvannerton. I came to Old Bridge when I was 5 years old, and since that time, both my music and my faith played a big part in my life. I learned to play the clarinet when I was in the 5th grade, and I sang since the time I could talk. When I was in the 5th grade, I joined the band, and I played in band and choir for many years, all through high school, and even I played some in college. I played clarinet in college. I also joined the folk group at my church when I was 13 or 14 years old, which was a really good combination of joining both my faith and my music, which were both very important to me.
After graduating from high school, Mary went to the college at Monmouth University. Initially interested in science and engineering, she found that those fields did not suit her talents, and later found a new interest in accounting. However, she was only able to attend college for a few years, and due to the onset of Crohn's disease, had to drop out early.
It wasn't until 10 years later that I was able to go back, finish my undergraduate degree at night while working full-time as a controller of a Wall Street advertising agency. And I eventually then went on to law school, where I also completed my JD in the evening while working full-time during the day.
Mary hosts a dinner and TV show viewing occasionally, inviting some of her friends to attend. At one of these events, there was the chance to sit down with a few of these friends and ask how they met Mary.
My name is Cynthia Lunine, and I'm a friend of Mary Mulvannerton's. She was instrumental in helping us to find our house when we first came to Ithaca, and she has since become one of my dearest friends.
Hi, my name is Mary Squires. We've met some years back now, and she's a very good friend of mine. We have lots of similar interests, and we both like to ride our bikes. We are biking buddies, so we do that a lot in the summer.
Mary is the Associate Director in the Center for Radiophysics and Space Research at Cornell University. She handles hundreds of grants and contracts, deals with personnel issues, and also works with the Vice Provost for Research, who manages all the research at the university. Sounds like a tough job, but Mary enjoys it.
I love my job. I feel very fortunate to be able to work and support something that I really love. As an accountant and an attorney, I could work anywhere. My skills really are in management. And as a manager, I could work for any type of company. But I find it extremely rewarding to be able to work in an area that I really love, which is astronomy. So, and does the work tire me? No. I love it. It's exciting, very exciting.
Talking with some of Mary's colleagues, one can see a positive sentiment toward Mary and the work she does for CRSR. There was an opportunity to talk with Jonathan Lunine, the director of CRSR, and Monica Armstrong, assistant to the associate director. Jonathan Lunine is the director of Cornell's Center for Radiophysics and Space Research, which fosters cooperative research among scientists interested in space. Jonathan is also the David C. Duncan Professor in the Physical Sciences at Cornell, working on missions to the planets and teaching courses in astronomy.
Mary Mulvannerton is my Associate Director here at the Center for Radiophysics and Space Research. Mary also helped to get my family and myself moved to Cornell, to Ithaca, when I signed on 2.5 years ago. We were living in Rome, Italy, and to move from a foreign country to a place that we had never lived before is a very difficult thing. So Mary's expertise, her ability to actually find a place for us to live, and she investigated it, sent us pictures, really put all of us at ease, and it made the move much easier for us, much more fluid. So I'm very grateful for all of that, and I'm grateful to have her as my associate director here. She's essential to our center.
Monica Armstrong's work includes being the graduate field assistant, which involves dealing with 42 grad students in the astronomy department, helping with proposals, taking care of arrangements for colloquium visitors, and helping professors in the building who need admin assistance.
Hi, I'm Monica Armstrong. I work with Mary Mulvannerton. I first met Mary, I'm not quite sure when she started, but I remember she had walked in my office and she had gotten a job upstairs for the Mars missions. And she had on this really pretty necklace, and we hit it off that day on stuff that we wore, and so we just got so every day she'd come in and we would chat about things, and we struck up a really good friendship. She's a great people person. She cares about everybody. The department, I think, has thrived because of her caring, selfless way. She's there to stick up for you if you've done something right.
Mary Mulvannerton is a person of faith, of tolerance, of giving, of hard work, of being nice no matter what. The list can go on, and from what has been said by her colleagues and friends, one can see just how accomplished and talented she is. She still lives in Ithaca, New York, and will continue to live there for years to come. Cornell University is lucky to have her as an employee, and one can be sure that she is glad to be working for them in the Department of Astronomy. Her work as Associate Director for the Center for Radiophysics and Space Research will lend itself for many years to come to many great scientific minds who need a grant, or a budget plan, or work on a proposal, or to researchers who just need someone to confide in.
Wow, Miss Malverton has lived quite a life, and her co-workers at Cornell are equally as interesting.
That was an inspiring piece, and it's great to see how people can work together to create incredible things.
Right. So next up, we'll be looking into the life of Neil DeHond, an independent filmmaker out of Rochester, New York. we have another one of our fellow WRED members, Oliver Work, to look into their story.
It can be said that the film industry is not really something you can just jump into and get going. Well, not according to Neil Dand anyway. Neil Dand is a writer and director, known for titles such as Second Story Man, which he made in 2011, Maze, which he made in 2009, and Soft Typewriter, which he made in 2008. I got the chance to ask Neil a few questions regarding his journey leading up to being a director, and I also got to hear about some of the challenges he faces when he wants to make a movie. I asked Neil what inspired him to become a director. He said, "I originally wanted to be a literature teacher, maybe writing poetry or short stories as well, but I grew up with movies." He added, "I had a few great teachers in college who were very excited about cinema and introduced him to a lot of foreign film." I moved on to ask him about the steps he took to becoming a director. He told me he didn't really know how to be a director, and that he applied to film school somewhat randomly and just went for it. He said, "I learned a lot there, but more importantly, made some great friends who had different visual styles and approaches. They really influenced me." When I asked Neil about the challenges he faces when he's cooking up a movie, he told me that money is the main issue. He answered me with a few questions that seemed to outline the problems he encounters. "How do you raise money without a rich uncle or hitting the lottery?" he said. "How do you write a compelling, original script? How do you get good performances from actors if you have to work with non-professionals?" With regards to technology and/or actors, Neil also told me, "I can get my hands on some pretty comparable technology relatively easily. I don't have connections to A-list actors, but I can make the calls and bug agents and managers in the same way that any new producer would. Money and infrastructure are the two biggest differences."
He seems like a really cool guy. I wish I knew a filmmaker.
Moving right along, we have a lot of insight on people's lives, so might as well take a look at another one. Our next Ithacan, Sandy Lunine, of Ithaca Talent Education. Elijah Chen went out to get this inside story on this fascinating figure, and he is in his secrets in teaching music in his life. Let's take a look.
We were the first, let's say, foreign performing ensemble to actually dare go to Japan.
Music plays an important role in everyone's life. We listen to music every day while driving to work, going to school, or doing daily chores. But what happens if music becomes a part of you? You live and you breathe it. Sandy Lunine, the director of Ithaca Talent Education, did just that. He graduated from the University of Illinois and went on to do many great things for the Suzuki Association of the Americas, Ithaca College, and the area surrounding Ithaca, New York.
I think anybody who's passionate about whatever they do are influenced early on probably by two factors. One would be a teacher, and the other would be an environment.
During his early years, Mr. Lunine met many people that would influence him. However, one particular moment in people stood out to him the most and would encourage him to bring the Suzuki movement to Ithaca.
So here were these little kids traipsing on the stage at the convention center in Philadelphia. And number one, they're all about, what is this, 4 feet tall or shorter. There was one girl who was 12. She played the chanson poème, which I struggled with in college. It was a very difficult piece. And then most of these kids were 6 or 4 or 7 years old, you know, they were little. So here was this Japanese who, you know, I wondered, how do they know our culture, number one? And I just felt strange, and all of a sudden they started the Nickles Sonata. And the tone that came out of these little kids was so incredibly beautiful that it just blew me away. And I looked around the audience. Here were people with tears streaming down their face, some hardened old guys sitting there who taught at Juilliard or Eastman and all the big schools, you know, and they were sitting there so moved by this. So then I thought, oh my gosh, this is just revolutionary. Because here were kids playing at a higher level than any high school kids that we had. And they were like 7 and 8 years old.
Besides Ithaca, Sandy Runing has made an influence elsewhere in the world. His violin ensemble, the Heifetz Violin Ensemble, has been to 6 different countries, including Japan, Israel, Denmark, and Mexico. Over the past decade, Mr. Runing has made a tremendous influence on the Suzuki program in Mexico.
Well, as you know, our colleague here, Mr. Demek Augusto, comes from a city called Guanajuato, right in the middle of Mexico. It's in a very historic city. It's on the United Nations historic site, you know, because it was Spanish. The Spanish went in there and started mining silver. And so it became the center for producing mined silver in the whole world. And so people came there and they made a lot of money doing that, you know, and they built beautiful haciendas, beautiful buildings, beautiful concert halls and so on. And so Augusto said, we should go there, and there was a lady there doing a little bit of Suzuki teaching, so we went there and we did a little thing. And then subsequent to that, we went every year and started training teachers. So that's mainly what I did there, was just train teachers every year, and they came back, they took book 1, they book 2 the next year, book 3 the next year. And so we sort of peppered the whole country of Mexico with our trained teachers, you know, and we'd always take two or three of us down just to do the training. And then we took kids down to demonstrate, give recitals, things like that. You know, so it's gradually grown up to, and then last year they had their first conference of the whole country of Mexico. Mexico City has a lot of Suzuki trained teachers there that we had worked with, so we'll meet some of those again when we go.
I really like Mr. Runing.
He's a really fun teacher.
Sandy Runing first started violin in the small town of Wellsville, New York. The environment that surrounded him there encouraged him to continue his studies in music, first at SUNY Fredonia and then at the University of Illinois. During his college career and after, Mr. Runing has played for the likes of Leonard Bernstein and many notable groups. He has done work all across the United States and around the world, bringing young children the ability to be part of the Suzuki method. With his Suzuki movement, Mr. Runing has established one of the best private institutions for young children to learn stringed instruments, as well as one of the longest-running Suzuki institutes in the country. His accomplishments are not felt only in Ithaca, New York, but all across the world.
Awesome! That music was wonderful, and it's great to see kids so excited about music. Well, we learned a lot about many people here in our community. I'm looking forward to hearing about more people in the future. Until next time, I'm Brian Okumu.
And I'm Wade Englehart. Thanks for tuning in on The Red Eye.